Hello, and welcome again to B's and T's Stitching. I am Tina, as usual. So this time I'm actually going to do something a little different because I haven't done a lot of sewing. I'm actually going to do show you my sewing, and I'm also going to do a little bit of an under the bed, or as I call it, my box of shame. uh, my box of shame stuff. Not all of it, just some of the good stuff because there's a lot in there. Sorry. Got some allergies, so I may cough or rub my nose. I apologize. So, um, let me go ahead and I'm going to still go through my normal sort of routine. So, first off, again, hello. Second is going to be the what am I drinking? Now, this is my absolute, well, it's my second favorite mug, actually. Behind the bee bug you guys already saw. This is my oldest mug, though. I've had this probably since high school, like since maybe the early 90s. And I know I'm dating myself there, but you know. And it's been a miracle. This thing has moved like 3 times and has not broken yet, knock on wood. But so far so good on that one. And I cannot find. I do apologize. I had the container of what I was drinking, and now I don't know where it went. But it is a mango tea, and as you can tell, I actually put because I like my tea kind of strong, so I actually have 2 tea bags in here. So it's a pretty strong mangoey sort of taste, but it's really really good. I will see if I can find that and show it to you so you can try to find it yourself if you like that sort of tea. Like I said, as you can tell, I tend to like the fruitier teas, blueberry, mango, um, pineapple. My mom brought me back some pineapple tea from Hawaii, which was awesome. It's really good. I think I'm out of that though. I'll double check, but I think I'm out. So that's what I'm drinking. Personal life, not really much going on here. Still working from home, still very busy with the job that I have. I am not what would be considered an essential worker, but I can work from home, so I can still do my job. So that is nice. Let's see. That's really about it for personal life. Not much has been happening. I haven't really been stitching. The stitchy bug just hasn't really been there that much the last week or two, but it's okay. I've been getting some stitching done, so it's not gone. It's kind of flittering a little bit, so we're good. We're good. There wasn't any Q&A. Uh I did get some comments, which were great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love comments. Um, and so as far as I know, I think I've responded to everybody, and I will continue to do so. I'll try to be really good about responding to everybody. Um, but no particular questions, which is fine. You know, if you have a question, great. If not, fine. Um, New starts, there were no new starts. The only thing that I worked on is going to be the Plague Doctor. Um, and I apologize that I am not cool enough to know how to edit and put in pictures that I had last time. But I've actually got quite a bit done. I'll tell you what, I'll take it off of this thing. So I have, and I apologize that it's terribly, terribly wrinkly. But so I've got the entire circle done, except for there's a few fill in other colors. This is just 310. And so I'm just gonna have to go back as I go with just a few fiddly colors here and there. But as you can tell, I've got the top of the outline at least of the top of the hat done, which is nice, and you can see the little cross on the inside. Again, this is all just 310. Since it's the most prominent color, that's what I'm working on. So that's what I'm putting in first. And so working on that, and then I'm going to get as much 310 done as I can in this area. And then I'll probably go ahead and fill in. And that way I won't have to keep moving back and forth. Although you can tell it's just going to be one little move should be good. This is a 10-inch hoop, I believe. Yeah, 10-inch hoop. I have Q steps, but I really prefer the tension that you can get in hoops. I like them really drum tight. So that's um, that's kind of nice. And I do have the windows open, so you may hear some bird calls. Um, it's just such a nice day, and my cat just absolutely loves sitting there. It's her HD TV, so and it also gives me some nice natural light. So I went ahead, opened the windows. So if you hear some tweets, that's what's going on. Um, Nothing finished, nothing fully finished, so nothing for either of those sections. Um, Plans really just to continue to work on the Plague Doctor. I was worried because it's not full coverage, but the area what it has, the area that is filled in is it does tend to be a bit um popcorny with colors. Um, so it's a lot of kind of little color changes, but there's not a whole lot of colors. In fact, this is its whole palette right here, which is well, this is three blacks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like the 6 colors. Oops, sorry. So, and all DMC, which is always nice. And so, that's even when it's kind of fiddly colors, it's still not that bad because it's not that many colors. And that was Busby Design, Plague Doctor on Etsy, Busby Design. So and she, well, I don't know if it's a she, but they have another one on there, another Plague Doctor, which is like a kind of like a Plague Doctor Raven, which is really cool. And I almost grabbed that one, but I was like, I just wanted to do a plain old good old Plague Doctor. So I may go back to that one later. We'll see. Let's see. Um, Haul or retail therapy. The only two things I got were my floss of the month from Crazy Annie's, I believe it is, and my color and cotton. So that's not really all that exciting, to be honest. And I'm sure other people have probably already done it, so that's probably okay. And the Crazy Annie that I get is um, classic color. So um, so yeah. Um, so let's see. I think that's really going to be about it for my normal stuff. So, like I said, what I'd like to do is show you some of my box of shame. So, it's no particular order except that I have the ones that I don't have um I don't have the pattern for because they were online. I want to go ahead and get through those first, and then I can show you and give you the patterns. So these first ones I may or may not remember where they're from, and I do apologize for that. So, but the first one, and this will be a nice show of kind of my the different fandoms and different nerd things that I kind of like. So, 'cause I don't do a lot. I mean, I have some that were kind of traditional things, but I like to do a lot of kind of quirky sort of stuff too, fandom stuff and things like that. So you'll see a good bit of that in here. So the first one is a nice Sherlock Holmes, and as you can tell, this is kind of the original sort of Sherlock and Holmes, more from the books than from um, the newer TV series that I love. But it actually has like the book Study in Scarlet, How to the Baskervilles, and at the bottom it says, "It has long been an axiom of mine that the little things are infinitely the most important." Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and that is obviously all backstitched there, and so it's real cute, real quick little stitch. I love his little pipe over here, and the little magnifying glass. So that was real easy, real cute. And I apologize that I do not remember um, who the author is of that one, and it was definitely on Etsy. Um, so it's something that could be found on Etsy, I'm sure. And this is another one which I believe looks like it was the same. No, it's not the same. Not the same fabric, but very close. This is actually more from the television show. So we have, hold on, we've got Sherlock, John. Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm going backwards. I apologize. Sherlock, John, Mycroft, Greg Lestrade, Mary, Molly, Mrs. Hudson, Irene Adler, and Moriarty. So, and again, another really quick stitch, just a little bit of back stitch, not too bad. But I had a really fun time doing this one. So I thought that was really cool. And I don't think this was from the same person, although the style is kind of similar. So there is that. Now this one, I could not, even when I tried, I could not find who this was online. So this was done for a friend of mine. This is one of the, if not the oldest piece that I have. It's one of the very first things that I started. Um, and I have not given it to my friend yet. It needs a good wash. Unfortunately, this was 14 count white Ada, and I had no idea what I was doing, so the stitches are not very good. Can't really tell, thankfully, from here. The stitches aren't very good, and there is some off coloring. So, but I mean, I am pretty proud of it. This is obviously linked from Legend of Zelda games. So, and what happened was the pattern was a little bit bigger, but I got to this point and I'm like, I really like how that looks. There was a little bit more of his hair up at the top, and there was some of at the end here. You could see more of his shoulder on the sword, but I kind of like this sort of close up look, so I actually stopped it where it was. This was kind of stupid to do as a first piece, to be honest, because it is, as you can tell, lots of full coverage and lots of confetti, lots of very fiddly stitching. So, I'm sorry about the sniffling. The allergies are bad. But you know, I did it. It took a very very long time to finish that. So yeah, unfortunately, I have not been able to find out at all who did this one. It was found, I found it online, and it's one of those things that I look back at it now and I don't know where it's from, and so its pedigree might be a little, I don't know, but I didn't know anything about that at the time, so you know, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. This, I believe, no, that's not. That's 14 count, but I don't remember what it's. Oh, there was a little back shot there. Um, what color it actually was. But this is from Good Morning Maui. I do remember that on Etsy. And both my husband and I absolutely love anything Disney, plus, and he loves the Haunted Mansion the most. So, I actually did this one for him, and again, it's has not been finished. But this is, and I never can remember which one is which, but Gus, Ezra, and Phineas. I want to say, I think that's Ezra. I think that's Phineas, and I think this one in the middle is Gus. But I could be wrong, so correct me if you know. But anyway, so this is from the Haunted Mansion. Uh, Obviously, Welcome Foolish Mortals. And this is one, and this is not the last one I've done this for, but it did not actually call for backstitching, but because of the fabric that I did it on, um, I really thought these guys kind of faded in, even though they are ghosts, so it would sort of work, but eh. Um, so I decided to backstitch, and obviously, since I had to do that, I had to backstitch everything. So, and again, this was another one that was fairly early on in my career. So it's the stitching is not terribly bad, but the backstitching is not very good, as you can tell. So I was still kind of getting my legs when it came to backstitching. So, though that may possibly be rebackstitch, we'll see. Um, all right. So another one from Good Morning Maui. This is definitely on Dapper, one of my absolute favorites. You know what? I think was that other one Dapper too. This one might actually be Dapper as well, I believe. But this is absolutely definitely Dapper. and another Haunted Mansion from Good Morning Maui on Etsy. So, this is the stretching portraits. What happens is for Disney, for the ride, I should say, you actually go into a little room, a chamber, and it's the way to introduce you to the ride and get you to the actual start of the ride. What they do is the room stretches above you, and at first you just see this first part. And then as it stretches, you see all the scary, well, not scary, but the kind of humorous but dangerous things happening. And it's slowly revealed, and then that's when they open it up to the ride itself. So that's kind of how that goes. So, and this one took a very, very long time. This is another one that is definitely one of my oldest. And it took just about a year. And that's not a year of like totally, working on it constantly. I was working on it a lot, then putting it aside, working on it a lot, putting it aside. So I kind of burnt out on it a few times. And oh my gosh, the border, oh, the border. But this was another one that was not supposed to be um, have all of the backstitch, but I actually did again because of the fabric. And I like it. I really like the way that it looks with the backstitch. So that actually works, and I love the quicksand over here. That I didn't think needed to be a backstitch, but kind of a nice subtle sort of design. But one cool thing is this ride is both in Disneyland and in Disney World. But in Disneyland, the reason that they made the stretching room is because you had to go under a berm, a big the berm, essentially the big dirt hill that separated Disneyland from everything that was outside of it. You had to go underneath it to another building on the other side, and that's why they had it. But at Disney World, they didn't need that. They had more size. So um what they did was they still made it stretch, but the elevator doesn't actually go anywhere, whereas in the Disneyland it does. So little trivia, little random Disney trivia there. Okay, so now the rest of these, excuse me, the rest of these I do actually have the patterns for, so I can show you exactly what's going on with them. All right, first off, one of the things that I'm really, really proud of, and one of the few things that I've ever actually totally finished, and I think I mentioned this last week, but this is Tiny Modernist Dragon Biscornu, and we were doing at our LNS, we were doing like a Biscornu stitch along, excuse me, and so and the a lot of people were doing one of the Tiny Modernists because they're really cute and they're really easy, and they're a really good start to Biscornu. So and I love dragons, so it's a little hard to see them just because it's on a curved surface, but you got the dragons and a little castle, and then on the back you've got the just kind of a nice flowery sort of viney thing. And so I actually did this all myself, and that's where you can see the two pieces are together. This is a 14 count light blue Ada. It's not from anywhere in particular. It's one of those you'll find at a store usually. But I really, it's the light blue is not really coming out all that well, unfortunately. It looks like it's showing up a lot paler than it actually is. But yeah, I mean, I did all that, and I the I thought that this was actually going to be really hard, and there's one little spot I missed there, but overall, it's together pretty well. And I have to admit that of everything I did, I think actually getting that the two buttons in there and getting them nice and tight and stable was one of the hardest things to do, which is weird, but it kind of was. So that, like I said, that was something I'm very proud of, and something I was very glad to finish. And it did not really take long at all. It's pretty small. I did get the Fawn Biscornu. I have that in my in my pack of stuff to do one of these days. And so hopefully that'll get done. I really love the Phoenix Biscornu. Um, sorry, let me move that out of the way. That looks terrible. Um, so I have also the Phoenix Biscornu, but I've seen people do it as a because it's a lot of reds and oranges and some yellows, and when you do it on black fabric, it looks beautiful, beautiful. And so I want to do that, but I had a bad experience because um, the link that I showed you was supposed to be on black fabric. And I started on black fabric and I just even though it was 14 count black Ada, um it was terrible. I had a horrible time. And so unfortunately I had to stop, and that's really kind of scared me off of using black Ada even though I have some black Ada. So I have some, but I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. We'll see. And I don't have a pattern yet, but I mean, I can get it easily. I'm not worried about that. So the next two are going to be related. Let me see if I can get these two. There we go. And I guess I'll do the older one first. So the first one is going to be the Blue Flowers Quilting Bee. Of course, you know you're going to find some bee stuff. Yeah, it's going to happen. So, and this was, unfortunately, I don't have what it was with me. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know what fabric it is, but that is the final, and I was really very happy about this. It didn't take that long, even though it's a pretty big um, pretty big design, and it there was some fiddling with colors, but it wasn't too bad because they were mostly in decent blocks, other than kind of these sort of designs in the middle, but so yeah, I think that ended up really nicely. I really enjoyed this. That was all the called for colors on this one. So and I believe all those other ones were all for the called for, except for I think the Foolish Mortals. I believe I did that in a different color, but I think everything else was all in the called fors. And so related to the quilting bee was one that came out late last year, which was the Blue Flowers Sleeping Bee. And this was done, I believe that is on the same fabric, is it not? Yes. Um, this might be vintage white mocha, I believe is what it's called. I think that might be what this is. But anyway, so here is, that's the sleeping bee. So you can tell it's got some kind of foresty and snowy bits and little. I love the little snowy bee skip over here. That's so cute. But here is that one, and this one I actually think went faster, and I don't know why. Maybe I was just a little bit more. I did that one first, because it's a bit older, and I apologize for the hoop marks. So maybe I was just a little bit more comfortable, but yeah, that's the sleeping bee, and I had a really good time with that one. And there were a couple of colors that were the same, but a lot of the colors, the blues and the golds, and the black were the same, but I believe most of the rest of them were actually different. So, but I would love to have these two together somehow. I'm not sure how yet. Haven't figured it out quite yet, but that would be nice. So I'll figure something out. All right. So, and then another kind of nerdy one, and I do believe that I won this in a like a giveaway on somebody else's FlossTube, but I don't remember who, so I apologize for that. But Pirates is my second favorite movie behind Ghostbusters, so um, that is just a real quick little anchor thing. Just a little bit of 14 count white Ada. That was a really quick little stitch. Had some back stitch and some kind of quarter stitches, so those are always kind of fun. But I think it came out all right. And I don't know, I probably am not ever going to do anything with that one, but it was just something to do. I thought it was kind of fun. All right. All right. And next was another one that this was a one that Ellen of Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour. This is 100% her fault for showing this on her FlossTube, and we both have a love of cats. So I saw this and I'm like, I've I've got to get it. So and this is not usually up my alley, but I love what it says. A house isn't a home without the ineffable contentment of a cat with its tail folded about its feet. I was going to try to do her because I have a female cat, but then I decided, I'm just going to leave it how it is. So yeah, this is not usually something that's even remotely my wheelhouse, but thank you, Ellen, for making me do this. And I know you could have put your own things up there, but I'm like, I thought I liked the way it looked, so I just went ahead and put that twist initials up there. And this one took a very long time. That is as you can tell, it's a pretty big boy, and there is a lot of green stitching down there. So that one took a while, but I do like it. I really like how it ended up, um, how it ended up looking. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I also thought about changing this cat over here to a black cat, but that is, oh, sorry, I apologize for that. I thought about changing it to a black cat, but I'm like, it would be really hard to have a good outline and get all the details. So I'm like, no, I'll just leave it as it is. Again, that is all the called fors, and so that was very fun. It was a little bit of a grind because sometimes, you get to that green and you're like, oh god, there's just so much more. But once you reach a spot, you're like, when you start really seeing it come together, then that really kind of gets the ball rolling, which is nice. So that was kind of cool. This one was one I believe that was in our LNS has had a couple of retreats where what we would do is we would go to the shop and we would have obviously we'd prepay and we would have certain she would have certain patterns ready, so throughout the weekend she would introduce maybe like two a day, like maybe um, two on Friday or two on Saturday and two on Sunday, and so or two Friday, two Saturday, two Sunday, and excuse me. So I'm pretty sure that this came from one of those, and so it's in the bag, Noteworthy Needle, and the one I did is this one down here with a T, of course. Um, and the cool thing about that, and I'll kind of show it to you, is this was kind of a weird way to do it where it was half stitches with two different colors. And that kind of gives it a cool T sort of look. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And this looks like it's probably a 14 count, maybe like a oatmeal Ada, I believe. But so that's the whole thing together. And I apologize, I'm not sure. There we go. Why doesn't want to concentrate, or why doesn't want to see get everything in focus here. But this is what I was talking about. See how close I can get, where it's like two different colors that are going on here, and so it gives you this really cool kind of design, whereas the rest is just simple, one color stitching or a little bit of back stitching, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, so that's that, and I thought that was really cool, and that's something that I would love to put up in my kitchen, if I ever have any room or find a nice frame for it. So that's that. This one is not that old, but I wanted to show it because this is, I believe, the first time that I ever tried doing buttons. So this is Tiny Martiners, Blackbird Singing, and I think I have a few more in here, but you'll find out that I really do like blackbirds and ravens as well. Um, so I have a few of those, and I have quite a few I didn't actually put in here from my box of shame. But and this is again all the colorful colors, and that blue to brown. Oh, that's beautiful. That is. Let's see, let me make sure I can tell you the right color for that. Well, um, I don't know. Apparently, that was. Hmm. I apologize for this. Oh, creek bed. There we go. Use creek bed instead of DMC 519, which is the blue. So this is creek bed. I apologize. From Weeks. Um, Gentle Art. Sorry. So this is Gentle Art creek bed. That's the blue to brown, which is beautiful, and I would love to find another excuse to use that. So, this is a uh, Beatles song, and I love the song. It's very short and it's very very sweet. So if you have not looked it up, it's just look up like Beatles Blackbird singing on YouTube, and you can find it. It's only a couple minutes long, but it's a really sweet little song. And so as you can tell, these are the Jabco buttons that they called for. The Blackbird and the moon, and there's a little bit of back stitching, which I'm pretty proud of. I didn't do too bad on the back stitching on this one, and as you can tell, this is on one of those printed fabrics, fabric flare, where it's really hard to tell. It's not coming in, but it is a really really pale yellow, and then on the back it's just white. It's unprinted, so um, and I don't know why exactly I chose kind of a paley yellow. I might have chosen a different color if I did it again, but it is what it is. All right, another B one. This is one I finished very recently, and maybe within last couple months. So this is The Bee Comes by Lila Studio, and this was one that actually was a stitch along um, on Instagram, and I believe it started on the 1st of January. Now that I think about it, I think this was a New Year, New Start. Excuse me. And so, and I loved it. And again, the kind of style isn't usually my style, but you know, just I liked the sentiment. I liked the bees, and it's pretty big, but it was not a hard stitch. This is not probably going to show up very well, and I unfortunately don't remember what it is or where I found it, but it's kind of a paley sort of pale mossy green. It's a little hard to describe. And unfortunately it is just not really showing up the right color here, but um that's what it looked like. And for the bottom, it was supposed to be um where it says 2020, you were supposed to put your initials in there, but I was like, I just wanted to put in 2020 because it was one of the first things I finished this year, and if not the first thing I finished this year. And so I was like, yeah, it was easy enough to chart up 2020 real quick, and just put that in there. And I really, really enjoy doing these little honeycombs. Those are two different colors. It's hard to tell. It's a little subtle. They're not terribly different color wise, but they are two different colors, and that is also all the called for colors on that one. So that is that. I've only got a few more here, not too many. I don't want to overwhelm you or make this too terribly long. So, this is one I'm particularly proud of because it had a lot of firsts in it. So I'm trying to show you some of my firsts as well. So this is Silver Creek Samplers Halloween. I love Halloween stuff. I really do. Maybe not to the extent that Gary from Sunshine Stitchers does, but still a lot. Because I have Halloweens and Ravens and witches and things like that in both my finish and unstarted. So, whoops. Oh, something else took a ride there. Whoops. Well, I'll show that one, but I don't have the thing for it. But so this is not all of the called for colors. Some of them are, but what I did was in the middle, for the I should say for the um, both for the ghosts and also for the moon. That's two different colors there. It's kind of hard to tell. That actually is glow in the dark, and so I thought that it would be really cool to kind of have this somewhere where I could hang it and it would shine when the lights off. Obviously, I haven't actually posted it up yet or done anything, finish it up, I should say. But I really do like the way it came out. It was kind of tough. I did change some colors other than that, and it was something again that was another one that was kind of early on in sort of my stitching career. So I was kind of jumping in the deep end with the Chronic. I mean, not with Chronic, with the Glow in the Dark. So, but I had a lot of help with the people of my LNS. They were very nice about kind of showing me how to do it and kind of explaining things, and it ended up being a lot easier than I thought it would be. I mean, it wasn't without any trouble, but it didn't end up being nearly as hard as I thought it would be. A little bit of tea to wet the whistle there. All right, and I apologize. This one was a straggler. I did not mean to bring this one up, so I don't have its thing, and I don't unfortunately remember because I didn't bring it out. I don't remember who did this one. This is Prank. I believe it's 14 count. It looks like it's 14 count, and it's Yield Crow. It it might be Blackbird. No, I don't think it's Blackbird Designs. But it was charted to be done in all one color. And I just thought I wanted to make it a little interesting. So as you can tell, I did the crow at the bottom here, as well as the CROW in the alphabet in purple color instead of the black. And I did put my initials on this one. One of the few I actually have put my initials on. I did a lot of sewing for this one in my local Starbucks. Back before we could, when we could actually go out and do things. Um, I tried about once a week to go out to Starbucks, grab a coffee, and just stitch for a couple hours, 2-3 hours maybe. Because it got me out, like I said, since I work from home. It got me out and kind of got me, people watching and kind of be a little social, I guess. And it was just nice to get out of the house for a little bit. So that was nice. Um, can't do that anymore. But so yeah, I have a few of these that were actually done, or at least partially done in Starbucks. So this one has a lot of really nice personal meaning. Um, because in in general, I tend to be a pretty cowardly person, but I tend to be a cowardly person that still ends up doing whatever they're afraid of. So, like, I'm afraid of. When I was younger, I was afraid of flying, but I still flew. I'm afraid of heights, but I still went when we lived overseas. We were able to travel around a lot of the world, and so I still went on top of places like the Eiffel Tower and Leaning Tower of Pisa, those sort of things. Even though I was terrified, I still did it. So, my father always called me the bravest little coward, which I think kind of fits actually. So that's why I really liked this one. And this is actually a quote. It's a Lizzie Kate, but the quote is from Winnie the Pooh, and it's called "Promise Me." So, promise me you'll always remember you're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And that, like I said, that just really resonates quite a bit with me. So I always thought that was really nice. And I believe that I did all of these in the called for colors. This is what looks like just plain old white Ada. I'm not sure why I chose that specifically. That's kind of large for a Lucy Kate, although it doesn't help that it's on 14 count. But there you go. That is sorry, I'm trying to see what I'm showing you there, but that is that. And again, I'm one of the really weird people who actually like stitching letters. I know that's strange. There not very many people out there who do, but there's some of us out there. But so, and this one actually ended up going pretty quickly, just because it's a lot of letters, and so that wasn't too bad. So that was one that, again, I might actually redo that because it needs something nicer than White Ada, I think. So, but anyway, so here's the last one, and this is another one that I finished very recently, sometime in the last couple of months. And again, I do have a little bit of a thing for Blackbird design for sure, especially their blackbirds and ravens sort of designs. But this is Blackbird by Blackbird Designs, and this is also actually based on the Beatles song. This is one of the ones, the Magical Mystery Tour ones, and they have like Strawberry Fields Forever, and um, I know they have Yellow Submarine, Eleanor Rigby, I believe. They have other ones. Some of them are a bit hard to find. Um, oh, Strawberry Field. Yeah, I did say Strawberry Field. Sorry. Um, and most of them, I'm like, they're not really up my alley. I would kind of like to do um, the Yellow Submarine just because it's really kind of cool. The other ones, I'm not terribly enamored with, so I'm probably not going to try to do the whole series. I don't even know, in all honesty, uh, if Yellow Submarine is even still available. So, I may or may not ever get to it. But anyway, it was charted for one color, and this is Haunted. 14 count, I believe. Let's see. I have the actual thingy here for once. 16 count, sorry. Uh, I've been trying to get away from 14 count, trying to do 16 or 18. But this is a 16 count Haunted, which is a really nice color. And, alright, there we go. Helps if I don't show the back. Good job. So, this is, let's see if I can get it a little closer. No, not really. So that is the design, and this is the called for. But I wanted to do the vase in a slightly different color, but I wanted it not terribly different. So I did go into my stash and find something that I thought would kind of fit, and so I did that. And it's funny, it's like with the design when it's all one color, that sort of looks like a cat sitting there at looking at the bird, and I almost thought about changing it a little bit to make the tail kind of move away so it kind of would look more like a cat. But I decided against that. So that is some of my highlights, I guess. Excuse me, from my box of shame or under the bed box, however you want to call it. If you guys are interested, I mean, I can do more of them. I have a whole box full. Um, so, a little bit of everything. Some more bees, some more tea, some more Blackbirds, a little bit of everything really. Uh, some more kind of fandom sort of stuff and pop culture sort of things. So just tell me what you guys want. I could also, if you like, dive into. I have my boxes over here that have my patterns that are not kitted up yet, but are just waiting to be kitted up and started. So I can show those too if you'd like. Whatever you guys want. I really do welcome feedback. Any sort of constructive criticism, anything I can be doing better. Anything like that, I really do appreciate. All right. Well, I guess that's about it. Hopefully, I'm getting a little less nervous about this and trying to say yet less, but not sure that's really happening. But it is what it is. I am what I am, like Popeye says. So I guess that is really about it. There's not really much else to do. And oh, I forgot to say, I do apologize. I'm a day late. Um, I had some online stuff going on yesterday, and I just couldn't really find a good time to fit this in. So next week should be back on my regular Saturday, as far as I know. I'm trying to do this every week, although it's just going to depend on how much I sew, as if there's really going to be much to show you guys. So that's why I'm kind of thinking about more under the bed stuff, or show you my mess over here. So we'll see how it goes. And I guess that is about it. So until next week, hopefully, just stay safe. Practice the social distancing and all that good stuff. Stay home if you can. All the good stuff. People have been talking about. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.